Hi, as you know, my name is Taylor and welcome to Gender Down Under. Today I am doing my transition video. As you would have seen, Erica's already uploaded hers, so yeah, it's my turn now. Don't mind me, I've got to look from my notes that I've written just so I make sure I don't forget anything. So basically, I was born in the 90s in a place called Burnie in Tasmania, Australia. Tasmania is often a place that people forget about, but it's a small island just south of Melbourne, across the Bass Strait, and I grew up in a town called Penguin, which some people find hard to believe, but it is a place. And even though, so I was born or assigned a female at birth, and even though that was the case, my parents never thrusted any gender roles on me, or you know, the way that I should dress or be or act or anything like that. I was really lucky. And I grew up with two brothers, so I was always doing things like playing outside, playing in the dirt, all those kind of things that, you know, girls probably wouldn't do that much. I mean, especially maybe not now, I'm not really sure. You know, I always wore shorts and t-shirts growing up. I wore dresses when I was quite young, but once I started to, you know, dress myself, I didn't go for dresses. You know, it's kind of hard to run around in a dress, so and I was always quite an active child, always playing sports and stuff like that, so yeah, I went with shorts most of the time, shorts and a trusty t-shirt, and I had a little bucket hat that I wore everywhere with me. And I mean, I had terrible fashion sense, so I'll upload some pictures and you can see how bad it was. So basically, during the early years when I started kindergarten, I did wear some dresses, but also in that same year you can see me wearing little tracky pants and jumpers and stuff like that. So obviously I kind of, yeah, did a bit of both depending on, yeah, the flavour of the month, I guess. I'm not really sure. I never really felt like the other girls that I was growing up with, they were all starting to get fascinated by pink things and boys and makeup and all of those kind of things, and it was just not me. I had no fascination with any of those things. I wanted to play sports, I wanted to wear shorts, that was who I wanted to be. I came to high school, I preferred to be, you know, kicking the footy or some form of sports with the boys at lunch rather than gossiping about guys with the girls. You know, they would just sit around and watch the guys, and I wanted to be out there playing, so I would always be out there kicking the ball with them. And I never actually wore a skirt in high school, and I think there was one time I did for the end of year 10 assembly, which I felt like I had to. Not that I wanted to, I felt like that I had to, which wasn't great, but I did it anyway, and yeah. So it was in year 9 that I first cut off my hair. I'd always had quite long brown hair, and I first cut it off in year 9 because one of my friends actually cut her hair off as well, and I was like, oh, that looks awesome, like, you know, I want to do that too. So I cut my hair off. It was kind of all one length, probably about as long as this, but all one length. I'll see if I can find a photo. But that was something that I really enjoyed and kept doing for a while. I did let it grow out, I think. Oh, I let it grow out the next year, but yeah, I don't know, it felt awesome to be able to do that and make that decision for myself. There'd definitely be a lot of things that I've done as I was growing up that I didn't realise were to make myself look more masculine, or, you know, it was affirming my non-binary gender identity, which I didn't know until June last year in 2018. But yeah, I think there was just a lot of things I was doing as I was growing up as a teenager into my early adulthood that I did to make myself feel more comfortable, and I didn't realise that those were things to alleviate some form of dysphoria that I was feeling. It's probably been the last 5 years of my life that I've been making big changes to feel more comfortable in myself. 2 years ago I cut my hair off. I had hair like down past my chest, which was something that I did because I thought it made me look more appealing, to let it grow. So I cut my hair off for the first time since that year 9 stage 2 years ago, and I'll show you what that looked like. It was kind of the first step, and every time since then I've kind of been cutting it a little bit shorter and a little bit shorter, as I get more comfortable, you know, in who I am. I guess the reason why I never did that as well, why I never cut my hair, was because I didn't want to look too gay. I was worried that I was going to be that person that everyone looked at and thought, wow, that person is definitely gay, you know. And I don't know why, there's just a stereotype of growing up that, you know, being gay was a bad thing, or being gay was something that shouldn't be, you know, spoken outwardly about, something that, you know, people would judge you for. And so I never wanted to be that person, and I think it's horrible. Like, I love being who I am. I don't care if someone can tell that I'm gay now, like, it's not a big deal. But there was a lot of things that I've done in my life have been delayed based on being worried about what people would think of me. And I know a lot of other people out there can definitely, you know, they can relate to that in different places in their life where they've been too scared to do something based on, you know, worried what other people are going to think about them. And unfortunately it's the case with a lot of people. A few years ago I stopped buying women's clothes, clothes that were made for women, and I started buying men's clothes only. I started wearing men's underwear, which was something that I didn't do because I was worried about the people that I was seeing were going to judge me. But now I wear them all the time, you know, I don't care. The only thing I would buy were the bras that I would wear because of my chest. You know, I couldn't get away with not wearing anything, so I would buy those. And at the time, for the last few years, I'd only been wearing underwire sports bras because, you know, I'm sporty. That's the only kind of thing that I felt comfortable buying. And then I ended up buying sports crops, so they would have no underwire, and that was a way to alleviate my chest dysphoria, because it did make me feel like they appeared flat. Well, it looked like they appeared flatter, which was definitely awesome, and it worked for a while. I guess it kind of leads me to now describe where I am in my life, and I'll put in a video that I recorded a month ago, before this happened. So I got top surgery, which I'll explain. I'll cut another video in, which will be my excitement. I think I recorded it the night before I went into the hospital and had the surgery. But let me just... This is my chest. So now I think I'm 5 weeks post-op. I do require a revision for a little bit too much skin and tissue that's been left behind, which is fine. So at about June I'll probably have that. But yeah, like this is what I get to go out with every day, and it's awesome. I don't really have any complaints about it. Like, there is a little bit leftover tissue, which I'm going to be happy that will be removed, but other than that, life is sweet. Like, being able to look of who I am has been really great, and there have been plenty of moments now where I've been gendered as a male, which might seem a bit strange to people, but it is awesome for me because it reinforces the fact that I don't look like a female anymore, and you know, that is really euphoric and affirming to me. Even though I don't want to be a man, which is okay. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be to transition to be a male, but for me, I don't resonate with everything that goes along with being a man. I'll talk about it later when we talk about medical kind of transitions, I guess, in terms of hormone therapy and stuff like that, but none of that really appeals to me. I don't have dysphoria in terms of my bottom half, you know, like my vagina. I don't have any dysphoria with that. My period, no dysphoria that I know of at the moment, and all of that kind of stuff. So that's kind of why I knew I was non-binary, and my chest was the only thing that made me feel not who I am. Basically, so I could have binded my chest. A lot of people in the world do bind their chests if they don't feel comfortable with them, to give them a flatter appearance, and it's basically like compressing. Something that's really tight on your chest to compress the tissue and give it a flatter appearance. There's plenty of binder companies out there who do make them and make them a lot safer, because there are definitely bad ways to bind, and I would recommend, if you're thinking about binding, please look up the correct ways of doing that, because you can really hurt yourself, your breathing, your lungs, your ribs, and that's another reason why I didn't want to bind. The reason why I got surgeries: I am sporty, I'm an athlete, I play cricket, I like going to the gym, and being just generally, quite active, and so I didn't want to have any complications. I was really worried that I'd have complications from binding, which is why I organised my surgery as soon as, you know, I could, because I guess it's kind of something we will talk about later, is being trans and mental health issues that come along with that. But I didn't want to, I felt like I couldn't live with the chest that I had, based on, you know, like I just had so much social anxiety around being outside, people gendering me, people seeing me with that chest, and it was just something I wasn't comfortable with. So it really played on my depression, my social anxiety, and plenty of parts of my life suffered because of that. And I was lucky to have some really supportive people in my life. Therapy was really important, and being really honest and talking to my GP about how I was feeling definitely made a big difference in my life. But I can't tell you how alleviating having top surgery has been, and how much hope it's given me for my life. I feel like I can do things. I feel like I have a future as who I want to be, and not who I'm stuck inside. Like, I actually feel like I can go and do so many things and be positive about so much, and I'm really lucky to have supportive people in my life that have supported that decision, have been there through that decision making time and through the recovery, and all of that. Erica was a really big part of my recovery. She took me to hospital, you know, she checked, made sure I was okay all of the time, and really made me feel like the whole process was a lot easier, and was excited with me, and that was what was important. Like, I was so happy that so many people were excited for me, that I was making a decision that would change my life in a positive way, even if they didn't totally understand what it felt like to have this dysphoria or why I wanted to do it. They were still supportive regardless, and I think that for other people and parents out there and family members and loved ones, I think it's really important that even if you don't understand what it feels like for this person to have this dysphoria about part of their body, the most important part is if they're doing something safely about how to make themselves feel better, is to be as supportive as possible. And you don't have to understand to be supportive. And by you watching this video, you know, you're educating yourself, which I think is really great and really important. So yes, thank you for watching this video. I guess, yeah, you'll see our next video, which will be Erica and I back together, which would be great. I kind of miss recording videos with her because it's really funny. But yeah, that's kind of it. So I will say goodbye for now, and you will see our next video in probably the next month or so. But yeah, thanks for watching.